Hello, India Ultimate. We are the UPI operations team. Welcome to the fourth UPAI National Conference.
Thanks, Nalini. What happened to the
Thank you. Hey, Dhruv,
design guidelines before that I was asking
you've
you
been
about?
working on the BA.
Shubhra, did you finish
list
that
Do we
thing?
have
or-
EB's approval?
Yeah, I've been
Happy
following
birthday,
that.
Shubhra.
Okay.
Do you know what
Whoa,
does
whoa,
IB
many-
mean?
so
Oh,
many
happy
things,
birthday.
so many things.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get down to business. Good evening to all of you tuning in. Let's go through the schedule for this year's first ever almost online conference. First up, you'll hear from the 17 state and city leaders. It'll be followed by all the cool and exciting things that the UPI has been up to through the year of the lockdown. And sandwiched between these two updates is a wonderful 3-minute short film about the amazing women of Goa Ultimate. This was their entry to the recently concluded, tremendously inspiring Femme-Powered Films Festival. We were also inspired by Rupal Shah and her team at the Embassy of India's Student Hub. We've pretty much copied their hugely successful format to run our first online conference this year. Thank you. So, Maitri, what's happening tomorrow?
Tomorrow, in the morning from 11 to 11:45 a.m. will be the plenary with the UPI Executive Board, revisiting the vision and strategic plan. After that, the UPI Development Committee will be making the exciting announcement of the selected candidates of the UPI Kickoff Fellowship for Young Women Leaders for the upcoming year. If you want to know more about this fellowship, stay on and watch today's entire session. It's in there somewhere. From 12 to 12:30 p.m., we'll be having a live AMA Ask Me Anything session with the UPI Executive Board. Any questions that come up in today's session will be answered tomorrow, along with any new questions that are asked.
Cool. Thank you, Maitri. So after that, we break for lunch for a bit, and then we're back at 2 o'clock with probably the people with the most geeky Ultimate Frisbee team name. They're called the Tragic Trajectories. They're from Bangalore. They'll be discussing their challenges as a new team in the second year, which just happened to be the COVID year, unfortunately. They'll be exploring answers to questions that are being asked by many. For example, how can we sustain the excitement of Ultimate with just only throwing sessions during COVID, right? So after that discussion is done, there's the final segment of the conference with 3 breakout sessions, super exciting. Please make sure that you look up on our website, on the website indiaultimate.org, there's a separate tab, National Conference 2021, that has all the links to these sessions. Just click on the session that you want to join and you'll be automatically sent to that Zoom call, right? So the 3 sessions are, the first one is 91 Ultimates, the Unintended Receiver podcast. It's going to be live this time. And the 3 hosts, Jaydeep, Mayor, and Richa, will be running a super chill session with probably an Ultimate Virtual Jeopardy game. We'll also be announcing the memes contest results and the winners, right? Then the second panel or the second breakout session will be all you ever wanted to know about coaching, how to be a coach. And this will be facilitated by the coaching committee chairperson, Suhani Bedi from Delhi. And she'll be talking to national team coaches like Nandan, Liz Haynes, Uday and Philip, and our own Mrinalini. The third breakout session, and all of these 3 breakout sessions are happening in parallel, just so you know. The third breakout session is the challenges faced by women in leadership. This is facilitated by Development Committee Chairperson Advitya Dawn from Calcutta, but plays for West Coast Rascals. It's going to be featuring Shawana Sen from the Past Collective, Varsha Yashwant Kumar, she's an independent filmmaker, also from Tix Bangalore, and Anita Bengra, who's the captain of Delhi's amazing GK Mad. So we really hope you enjoy this conference. Looking forward to seeing you there. Stay tuned and enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Aditya Mazumdar, President of Delhi Ultimate, representing the National Capital Region. Delhi has 4 major clubs and over 10 teams between them, with 5 competitive teams and rest development teams. The pandemic severely affected not only the development teams but the competitive teams as well, as majority of them are from colleges. Hawabaz from St. Stephen's College and Ashoka from Ashoka University. With colleges shutting down and all ultimate related activities coming to a full stop, a year-long pause on all training, recruitment, team activities, and an entire batch of players graduated without any ultimate. Other clubs like SDIS and GK resumed team activities, but access to sports facilities and venues have been a challenge. Last month, we hosted DSL Delhi Sunday League, which saw some recreational ultimate return after a year. And Y Ultimate's ongoing ZPL, a 6-week long hat tournament, showcased tremendous enthusiasm amongst the development teams with over 150 players turn out each week. Hope that we at UPI would recognize the lack of teams in the city and a huge growing demand for competitive ultimate.
Hi everyone, this is Akshay from Lucknow in Uttar Pradesh. In Lucknow, in the last season, which was now 2 years ago, we had 10 to 11 teams participating. Now we are down to 5 teams. We recently had a small tournament. We could put together 5 teams. Overall, 2020 was a bad year for us, like everyone else. We've lost a lot of players. We've lost entire teams. We'll have to start again from scratch. But in retrospect, we also did a lot of good stuff as a community. We came together, supported each other. We supported a lot of our players financially and through their entire education, online and offline. We continue to do that. We have students in board classes. We are supporting them, supporting each other. Even now during practice, we've split it into 2 groups. One group studies on the ground, and the other group, after they finish with their practice, they check what the study group was doing. We did a lot of ration distribution, in which the players themselves put together lists of people in their communities and families that were going through bad times. They distributed the ration themselves. They helped us in many, many ways to support their communities. We did cash transfers for the players themselves. We had WhatsApp groups for workouts, for studies in various classes at various levels. We did a lot of stuff online, which was good because we could push our boundaries as a collective. We could pivot, think beyond the sport, how we could help each other and families. So that was the good part of it. For 2021, let's hope things look better from here on. We can make more teams, get more players into the sport, find the old players who have dropped out, get new players in, and again field 8 to 10 teams in the upcoming season. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Anil from Goosebumps. I have been given this opportunity to talk about Hyderabad, the only city where the ultimate scene is active in the Telugu-speaking states of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. The city has close to 6 teams, of which few of the clubs play regularly. Also, for the last couple of months, we have been organizing weekly pickup games. Thanks to a few active players without whom this wouldn't have been possible. The COVID situation in the city, as per the official record, looks good compared to the other states in India. But COVID cases are increasing rapidly. We are taking necessary precautions. Thank you to UPAI for playing a proactive role during this tough time.
Hi, I'm Chanda from Yuva. We play Ultimate in Jharkhand. We had to stop our playing for the whole of last year. Now, we are slowly getting back to playing. We do not have any questions from UPAI. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jashan Shetty, the state representative for the city of Surat. Surat has around 7 teams that have been playing in previous national tours, but we also have a number of exciting young players that you probably haven't seen. So we hope to make increase those numbers in the future. COVID was really tough for us, as I'm sure it was for most of the cities around India. The initial wave stopped practices completely, and many players were affected financially as well. We were fortunate enough that Surat Ultimate had the people and the resources to help out these families financially. We ran regular checks as well as drives to give ration to the families so that at least one burden was taken care of. Some teams did stay active off the field on different platforms. They kept in touch through fitness and watching games together and other fun stuff like that. And slowly over the year of 2020, we did restart our practices in a controlled environment. On the other side, there have been teams that have not really come out of the COVID slump and we haven't seen for a really long time. And hopefully we get to see everyone on the field in the coming few months when things get better. One thing that I think UPAI can help us with is coaching certification. I know they're working hard on that already, but Surat Ultimate and the younger kids and the younger adults in our community are all very eager to become coaches, and even in the future they see this as a part of their livelihood. So that is something that we are really looking forward to.
Hey guys, hi everyone. Hope everyone is doing safe and secure. My name is Nagesh and I'm representing Kupa. We have around 10 to 12 active club teams who practice regularly. Coming to COVID cases, we have around 3,000 to 3,500 active cases which are recording every day. So I would request all the teams to follow the guidelines which is led by UPAI and as well as Government of India. Coming to questions, we have a couple of questions. We have two questions from a club team where they want to know how the money which was collected for UPAI registration have been utilized. The second question is they wanted to also know the upcoming calendars of national series. So these are the two questions which I received. That's it. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Hey guys, Nishit from Coimbatore, part of NFZ now. So good to see all of you. So regarding an update for Ultimate in Coimbatore, so we have about 3 teams here. So that's Saptavya from Amrita. There's also a church Ultimate group which we've recently discovered, and it's us, Discreet, and gone into NFZ now, no fly zone. So we have a good bunch now, and the COVID update here is that, of course, as you must know, that Tamil Nadu is going into election, so it's not like we have it very, curtailed or controlled. We'll probably come to know only after the voting happens this week. But yeah, we've done restricted practice, and now we've called off practice because obviously we've come to know of rumors that a lot of cases are around. So that's the update about Coimbatore's Ultimate scene. And as of now, I think don't have any queries or any help required in our location. Cheers guys, thank you.
हाय, मेरा नाम नोनी भगत है, मैं असम का हूँ। अभी मैं डी एंड में काम कर रहे हैं। हम लोग का साथ 36 टीम्स यानी 720 प्लेयर्स का साथ हम लोग एक्टिवली काम कर रहे हैं। कोविड का टाइम में बहुत चैलेंजेस हुआ था। अभी हम टीम डिवाइड करके हम ग्रुप्स को ड्रिल सिखाया था, और रिसेंटली हम अल्टीमेट फ्रिस्बी का एक एसोसिएशन बनाया है डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल में। एसोसिएशन को हम कैसे आगे ले जा सकता है असम एंड नॉर्थ ईस्ट में, इसके लिए मदद चाहिए होंगे UPAI से। थैंक यू।
Hello everyone, I'm Peter. I'm from Ernakulam, Kerala, and I'm really happy to give an update about the Ultimate that's happening in Kerala. So although there are a lot of Keralites playing Ultimate all across India, Kerala was never very active in Ultimate. So the COVID lockdowns, it brought all the Ultimate enthusiasts back home, and now that helped us to regroup and build communities here in Kerala. So basically we have got 3 places in Kerala where Ultimate is happening: Alappi, Ernakulam and Trivandrum. So the Alapi beach, it has got a strong bond with Ultimate, as it's been there for 10 years. So two teams started playing with the disc back then, and at present the team Air Strikers, a group of 20 players, they practice 6 days a week in the morning. They also host occasionally practice matches and hat tournaments, the latest being Alapi Hat that was held in Jan 2021. While in Ernakulam, it's been scattered throughout the years with occasional pickup matches happening. So recently around 15 to 20 players have started, and we organize practice sessions on Sundays, and the community is getting stronger every week. For Trivandrum, it's a growing community of 15 to 20 enthusiasts. So they play 4 times through the week at beach on weekends, and they practice the throws in the city during weekdays. So slowly the community in Kerala has started growing, and we are trying to spread the game. So we require all your support, and you're allowed to spread the game here. Cheers to everyone. Thanks a lot.
Hi, I'm Ragweed, President of Tamil Nadu Flying Disc Association. We are responsible for growth of the sport across the state of Tamil Nadu. We represent Southeast section in NCS. We have over 15 clubs from areas such as Chennai, Auroville, Coimbatore, as well as a newly formed club from Dindigul. COVID was a very challenging task. It impacted people financially. We started a fundraising campaign which collected 45,000 and able to assist 14 families in this process. We also started a virtual fitness campaign which will bring back our players back to their fitness levels. Our community keeps growing. We want to know what UPA plans as in regards with UPA coaching accreditation, especially the level 1 coaches. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Samad Chetty. I'm representing the city of Mumbai, which is in Maharashtra. We have 6 teams over here, out of which 3 teams are active. The active teams are Storm, Rascals, and Down to Earth. And we have 3 developmental teams, which are Kalina, Kandivali, and IIT. So in 2020, we faced a few challenges, but there were a lot of positives also. A lot of players of Mumbai are not from Mumbai. I mean, they are based from different places in the country. So a lot of them decided to leave the city to be with their families, and we could not practice as a team. So the positives were that a lot of teams and a lot of MUL teams also. There are teams of clubs, there are teams of colleges like IIT, and we have a league which has started, which is called Mumbai Ultimate League. A lot of them took initiative to start challenges which is more related to fitness, which you can do as an individual or 2 people together, and it really worked out well. There was good spirit, and everyone was looking out for each other, so that way it was a great bonding which was being created, even if we were not meeting physically. So that was good to see. Everyone was keen to start practices. By the year end, I think in around November, December, we started practicing in pods, and slowly we started coming out to play as a club on the beach. Even Down to Earth started playing. Storm and Rascals also started playing, and we started getting inquiries from regions like Kandivali, where a team was coming up and they needed help. So they used to come to Juhu to practice with us. So that was good. And Kalina, we wanted to bring Kalina to life, which was always there but not there. So we started pushing them to also come to Juhu Beach, so that they have some rhythm and they start practicing as a team. What happened during COVID is that a lot of families in Mumbai and Maharashtra were facing financial issues. So what we did as Mumbai is that we collected funds. This initiative was led by Ankur and Aditi, and we helped a few families in Mulshi and Pune. Around Mumbai, we were in touch with a few players, but there were not much of a financial issue over here. But Pune and Mulshi, we helped a few families, and the that was great. I mean, Ankur and Aditi did a great job in covering the expenses of a few families through the funds that we collected in Mumbai. Questions for UPAI. We as Mumbai need to develop more coaches so that the teams can take the initiative of coaching the teams themselves rather than waiting for developed teams to come and coach them. So I request UPI if the coach certification process, which normally happens in Bangalore, can also be done in West region, which is either Surat or Bombay. It will make it much more accessible for the players over here. If two players are coming to Bangalore, then we'll have 10 to 15 players coming to Surat or Bombay for the coaching certification. So I request UPI to look into that matter, and whatever logistics are needed, we can try and work with it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Selvi from Auroville. I play for Spinergy, and in Auroville there are two teams, Alphas and Spinergy. The COVID situation in Auroville is managed well, and as for now we don't have any cases and we are following the guidelines of Auroville. We don't have any questions and concerns towards UPI, and we are doing really good.
Hello, hi, my name is Shobham Sharma. I'm the state representative of Ahmedabad Ultimate. We have some club teams playing around 4-5 club teams and some college teams in Ahmedabad. We have a bunch of people who play regularly. 2020 was really a tough year for our Ultimate community. We have several lockdowns and curfews, and our people missed a lot playing Ultimate. In that situation, me and our fellows help a lot each other if someone had issue regarding food or something. So it was really tough year, but we have came fast from that. 2020 we have started playing Ultimate following the UPI guidelines, and we make sure everyone does that, and hopefully from the God grace we haven't had much cases in our Frisbee community, so it's a good sign. And still the situation is a little bad in Ahmedabad, but as per we are following the UPI guidelines, it's going well, and whatever happens, it's good.
Hello India Ultimate, this is Shubham, representing myself for Ultimate in Pune. First of all, I would really like to thank UPI for helping us during the early days of pandemic. Situations here are still ugly, and thus we are sticking to the guidelines and staying away from Ultimate. Hopefully all the situations will be good and we will be back to Ultimate. Till that, we are watching the YouTube games and staying at home. Thank you.
Hi, this is Soumya from Shamtale Foundation. We're based out of Udaipur in Rajasthan. We work in two tribal rural areas. One is Kotada and the other Gogunda. So with Ultimate Frisbee, we have about 6 of our facilitators who are getting trained and learning each day something new about it. But during COVID, we couldn't really play the sport. So we introduced a lot of new spirit games, and our fellows were also involved in creating new games on their own. COVID has been a bit, challenging for all of us, as it has been for the entire world. But we were very cautious, and we followed the social distancing measures and tried to increase student participation and their leadership through spirit games. We don't have any questions for the executive board per se. Thank you.
Hi, this is Tejas from Goa, representing Goa Ultimate Association. We currently have 4 teams in Goa, that is BITS UFC, Nash Women's Team Valkyrie, and the Nash Opens Team Deadpool. I think we handled the COVID situation really well over here. We made compulsory that everyone sanitizes their hands before and after play. We sanitize the desk before and after play. And we also had a rule that there is no mark within 3 meters, so the mark has to be outside 3 meters, and if the mark enters the 3-meter area, then the opponent team automatically gets a point. So that way we could play competitive and at the same time be safe also while playing. And luckily we don't have a single COVID case from our team yet. Hopefully it stays the same. Currently we do not have any questions or concerns to UPAI. We're just waiting and excited for the tour to start. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vilma Mutma from Team Girgitle. Girgitle is the only team from Mysore, Karnataka. Since COVID lockdown, we resumed practice around Jan 2021 in small batches, as there were about 100 cases a day in Mysore. And as a team, we're taking all the precautions possible. We don't have any questions towards UPAI. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mel. I live in Goa, India. I played sports my whole life. I played tennis for university when I was 19, and I saw Ultimate Frisbee being played next to the tennis courts. And I asked to join a game, and they said yes. And after that game, I couldn't put the disc down. I fell in love with the sport, Ultimate.
Hi, I'm Charmaine, and I'm a player for the India Masters team, an ultimate player. And I've been playing for the last 4 years, I think, intermittently with other sports as well. So ever since I can remember, sports has been a very integral part of my being. Right from the time I was a kid, played tennis, used to be on the school swimming team, basketball, badminton, and yeah.
Hi, good morning. This is Audrey. I'm from India and from a place called Goa, and I'm the oldest ultimate player in India. I'm a lovely 48 years old.
2015, we started a mixed gender team, Ultimate Frisbee team named Nash. From the beginning of our practices, we never had a difference in gender. We always would line up and play defense on who we thought we could play defense the best on. As a result of this, I feel that we have created some of the top female players in the country. Total, we've had 8 women who play on our team represent our country.
So the focus of my day is actually Ultimate, which happens between 5 and 7 in the evening. So everything else has to move around it according to my game. When I joined Ultimate, I was playing with kids my son's age, about 30 years younger. And I still remember a day when I decided to run down the field with a kid who's 15. And I'm thinking, why is my body not moving as fast as hers? I am running as fast as well. But yeah, it's challenging, but it's great because it helps us to move forward. We're not complacent in the same place, because at my age, I feel I'm one of the faster ones. But when I have the youngsters running with me, it's a challenge. But it pushes us forward.
So I have 3 kids, 2 daughters and a son. My 2 girls started Frisbee, Ultimate Frisbee along with me. That's about 4 years ago. So when they started, they were really young, and I could see them growing into the sport, where they were at one point of time smaller and slower than me, and now they turn around and say, "Mom, come on, catch up, you're slow." So yeah, it's a great feeling. It's a feeling of great pride to play along with them. My children have grown up playing sports with me.
They've grown up on the Ultimate Frisbee field, and now my daughter plays for India. She's a very good player, and my other two children also know how to play Ultimate Frisbee and enjoy it. And I think it's a nice sport to play as a family. In 2018, I was diagnosed with cancer, and through the hard times of chemotherapy, I was able to come out and get some fresh air and throw with the team, play with the team, and it helped me get through those hard times. And it keeps me physically fit in an older age.
So yes, I've been playing for the last 3 years. I tried out for the India Masters team last year. I didn't get in. Yeah, but that's no stopping me. So yeah, so this year I'm going to try out for the next international tournament, which is going to be a year from now. And yeah, that's exactly what I want to do.
2019, the Asian Championships in Japan, Shirahama, so I was the highest female goal scorer and second highest in the tournament. I scored 17 goals in the tournament. So I think I should credit my team for that because they trusted me to finish in the end zone. I was called a finisher. I would like, my goals in Ultimate would be to represent this country where I live in a few more years. I love to play World Championships, so I work really hard for that. I'd also like to play with the local team more in national tournaments. I love to watch the girls in Nash play and compete. I think they're really good and fun to watch, and it's been fun to watch them grow up from small players to big competitive players in India.
Hello everybody, welcome to the coaching committee presentation in the UPAI conference today. Just to give a little bit of background about myself, I work as the chair for the coaching committee and I'm supported with a couple of team members who I'll shortly introduce in a bit. But just to give you a little bit of background, the present team started working with UPI in June, July last year. Before this, there have been a lot of people who've contributed to the coaching committee. Just a couple of names that I know are Sangi, Kao, my VP, Jaideep. So they've done a great work, which we have built upon. But the focus of the presentation today is going to be primarily talking about who are we, who are the team members, what have we done till now, and what is our way forward. So just moving forward, just a second. So I'm supported by these following team members. The other two team members in the coaching committee, apart from myself, are Deepak and Anand. Deepak at this moment works for the All India Federation, and Anand is doing a couple of internships. One of them is with Project Khel. He used to play with Hawabaz earlier, and Deepak used to play in Bangalore. Now he's based in Delhi, and Anand is based in Kerala. Along with these two members, we are strongly supported by the UPI Ops team, which is Meenu and Manix, to an extent that Manix also makes it a point to join our weekly meetings, which have been so instrumental in we being able to communicate our needs to Ops, and Ops also are able to, on a regular basis, communicate to us what are the key priorities, what they need from us. So we have a very good working relationship, and it's primarily due to their support that they actually keep us going, ensuring that we have everything that we need, and also making sure that we're doing things in the right direction or what UPI wants us to do. So it's a lot of fun working with these bunch of people. It's also exciting that I get to speak with them so often. Of course, this has been a year where all of us haven't had a chance to see each other face to face. We haven't even had a chance to interact with each other. So these are good catching up moments. And it's been nice that we've had all these months of working together. So now moving on to what exactly have we been working on. I think when we started off as the coaching committee, one of the first key things that we thought about that would be important is to really figure out what should be our critical priorities and what should be some of the things that we should be working towards. I think in the initial months, one of the key things that came up first was number one, to increase the pipeline of our current coaches. We feel that we have a very weak pipeline at this moment. So what can we do to build more coaches in Indian Ultimate? And one aspect is, of course, we have a weak pipeline, but we also have a very skewed pipeline. There are a lot of good coaches at one part of the country, but then there's another part of the country where we do not have a lot of good coaches. And it kind of becomes a vicious cycle because these coaches are able to further develop more coaches, but because we don't have existing coaches at a particular place in our country, it's also more difficult to build those coaches. So thinking about what could be some of the things to build these pipeline of coaches, and that too from a geographically spread point of view. So to achieve, and the other thing that you wanted to focus on primarily was also to ensure that we standardize to a certain extent our coaching processes, or some of the key pointers, or some of the key attributes of our coaching we wanted to standardize throughout the country. Of course, if we know that every coach brings their own style, brings their own mindset, their own point of views, and we definitely want to retain those diverse perspectives. But at the same time, we also want to ensure that there is some amount of standardization as far as the quality of coaching is concerned throughout the country. So that was also one of the key things that we were focusing on and was one of our key priorities. So keeping these two things in mind, on your screen you can see these are the couple of activities that we've undertaken as a committee in these past months that we've been involved. The first thing was to develop a coaching certification policy. And when I say a coaching certification policy, what do I essentially mean by this? It meant that we create a leveled framework wherein there is a level 1 coach who has some amount of skill set and hence can train or provide coaching to this A audience that would require that skill set. And then further on, we increase the level. There's a level 2, 3, 4. And the ultimate goal as you progress on these levels is to aspire for, is to be a national team coach. So as as we also roll out a coaching certification policy, we'll be talking about how to keep your certification valid, till how long is your certification valid, what do you need to do to refresh it, what kind of eligibility criteria do you need to have to apply for each level of certification. And this will also ultimately feed into how we provide coaches to our national team, because they would also be required to have a minimum level of certification in order to apply for a national team coaching. So we're at this moment in process of building this entire framework. So what does this framework entail? Of course, it entails all the policy aspects of what does level 1 mean, level 2 mean, 3 means, 4 means, what are the eligibility criteria, who can you coach when you reach a certain level, what do you need to do to keep your certification valid or to progress on subsequent levels. Along with this, we're also creating some more documentation, which will be the part of our ultimate coaching certification, which will include, of course, all these training modules as a part of the certification. Will include like an ethics code of conduct that you would expect every UPI coach to have gone over and signed, a member protection policy. We're also seeing that there are a lot of opportunities coming where children are coached. So for example, when we also talk about the schools committee will primarily only be working with children. So we're also trying to develop some sort of child safeguarding modules or policies in our framework, which you would expect every coach to go over. Then in a coaching certification framework, and I think this is more about the levels and what kind of modules they will have. We're also trying to involve some sort of mentorship and networking program where we can create a community of coaches, or especially when a coach reaches level 1, can we start when a coach reaches say level 3 or level 4, can we start pairing them up with other more established coaches, which will help them develop their skills? Because ultimately at those levels, it's not so much about what do you know about Frisbee, but it's more about how you can enhance your coaching style and your own coaching toolkit. So that's what we're in the process of developing at this moment. That was one of the key things that we worked on as a coaching committee. So just to give an update, I think we've kind of developed the framework of all the levels. Now we're at a stage where we're going to start creating content for those modules. We've pretty much completed the ethics code of conduct, the member protection policy, which also Rasika and Smithy really helped us with. For child safeguarding, we've already identified a couple of curriculums that are free of cost that we would want our coaches to go over. So this is the key update. Now I think we're at a stage where you want to just consolidate all of it and at least roll out level 1 and level 2 coaching certifications. Moving forward, the second thing that we as a coaching committee have worked on is also helping UPI in selection of coaching candidates. So UPI has been approached by a couple of organizations wherein they wanted UPI to provide them with coaches in order to run some ultimate Frisbee programs. So the coaching committee has worked towards developing a selection criteria depending upon what the requirement of that specific program is. So for example, they've been approached by Bangalore United to teach beginners and children. So we created an entire selection criteria and selected a couple of coaches and further shared our recommendations with BU. Similarly, we're now working with some transgender organizations as well. So that requires a completely different kind of selection criteria. So we work towards figuring out what should be the parameters around with coaches for these communities should be selected. We worked with a couple of people to understand what should be the criteria, because the selection criteria for beginners is completely different than, say, a selection criteria for transgender when you're working with the transgender organizations. And even we do not have a lot of knowledge about that. So as a committee, we work towards ensuring that we find the right stakeholders who'd be able to help us build that criteria, and we built it, and we further worked on conducting selections and sending our recommendations to required organizations. So that was another thing that our committee was involved in. The other thing that we're also working towards is building some sort of coaching offerings for the community that later UPI can take to other organizations, teams, schools, or NGOs, and offer them these programs that the coaching committee prepares. So we're preparing offerings like Get Trained by national team coaches, which can further be shared with advanced club teams if they want to have a national team coach them, or creating offering for corporate events. A lot of time, Ultimate Frisbee, a lot of time corporates organize these offsites where they want to have like activities, team building activities. So can we create like a weekend or a weekly corporate event, or maybe even a couple of hours corporate event, and share it with corporates? So that's another thing that we're working on. And similarly, like creating multiple coaching offerings depending upon the various target groups that we could have in the entire ecosystem, like a 3-month program for a college, or maybe a yearly academic program for a school, a weekend beginner workshops. So all of these things, we're trying to figure out what could be the various permutation and combinations, and developing some offerings for that. And finally, the other key thing that we did as coaching committee was to work with other committees, as and when they reached out to us for any sort of curriculums, coaching curriculums or Frisbee curriculums that they required. We understood their needs, and we created a similar program for them. So these have been the key activities of our committee so far. And what are we working towards? I think in this next year, we've done a lot of thinking and brainstorming in this particular past couple of months. Now the idea would be to start rolling that out. We have built a lot of these things, and I think now this year is about rolling all these offerings, certifications out, seeing what kind of feedback can we get from all of you, and then further enhancing our certifications or offerings. So I think the first thing is we definitely want to roll out our level 1 and level 2 certifications this year. So that's what we're working on, just finalizing the curriculums, getting the content ready and rolling these certifications out. Our level 1 and level 2 are also more focused towards being face to face. So ideally, fingers crossed, soon the time to roll these out should be possible. We're also considering if there's a possibility of making them completely virtual. So we're exploring that aspect out as well at this moment. Secondly, the other thing and the very important aspect for our committee would be to roll out all these coaching offerings that we have. And finally, as I mentioned, 1 and 2 is ultimately going to be feeding into 3. So also ensuring that as a result of 1 and 2, we can have develop a strong community of coaches in India where they're not just a group of coaches, but a actual community of them where they can share best practices with each other, network with each other. So that's the key thing that we will be focusing on this year. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us. But that's all I had to share with all of you. Thank you.
Hi everyone, hope you're having a nice day so far. We are the College Development Committee. My name is Akhil and we have Sri Lakshmi. We are the chairpersons of this committee and we'll be taking you through a few of the updates that we've worked on over the past year.
These are our committee members. We have Jaideep, who is our mentor. I'm Sri Lakshmi. I'm currently studying in BITS Goa. We have Aman, who is a graduate of BITS Hyderabad. Yash, who's graduated from Ashoka University. We have Ava, who is from St. Stephen's. Sagar from MTV, and Akhil, who is also from BITS Goa. We also have Chandani, who was our chairperson last year. She's currently on a break, but I thought I'd mention her since she's not on this slide.
Okay, quick look at what we've done over the past year. I'll start with the beginning of 2020. A quick shout out to the organizers at BITS Hyderabad for organizing Arena. That is the last college tournament that some of the college teams have played, mostly teams from the south. Unfortunately, since NCUC got cancelled, we can't put it on this slide, which is sad. But yeah, moving on to what we've done this past year. The first point largely refers to our social media outreach. The main idea behind the Catch India 2020 challenge was to make sure that teams are engaged with all of their players and to keep everyone engaged with the community in general over the course of the pandemic. And it was really good participation that we had. Quick shout out again to Hawabaz and to Jain University and also to Saptavyuha for some great posts that they put up and a lot of engagement that they generated. We had a more recent but major push in the rules, which came with dual rostering. So what we asked for mainly was to have a rule which allowed college players to roster with a club team as well. So normally in the NCS, we have players allowed to roster with only one team for the entire duration of the NCS. Here we hope to have college players play more Ultimate and bring some experience back to their college teams, and also just have colleges to be able to put up a team more often in, say, sectionals or regionals. So that's the idea behind dual rostering. We'll cover this again with the college captains on another forum soon. The last 2 points refer mainly to data collection that we've done. So the third point is mainly a sort of regroup that the committee has done to understand how the committee and the UPI can help different college teams. And we try to figure out what sort of problems most teams face and how we can potentially resolve those. The last point is also a data collection point where we understand that it's hard to get all the colleges in India to play on a single weekend in a tournament like NCUC. So we're trying to get teams to play more Ultimate in their sports fests, and we can convert some of these to regional tournaments so that we have more teams from that region just playing more in general. So there's a lot of potential for this, and we hope to bring this out as soon as the season starts. And we will be in touch with captains for having more regional tournaments as well. Yeah, that's a high level summary of what we've done the past year.
Looking ahead, we have a few things that we're working on in the next year. So these are a few of the immediate things that we're working on. One is a Q&A session to clarify the changes in the roster rules and what they mean for college students. So everybody can take advantage of this and get to play as much Ultimate as they can. We also have a manual that we're coming up with to help college players start a team on campus. And the third one is a discussion forum. This will probably be on Facebook, and we are coming up with this so that college players can communicate with each other and also with the UPAI and the college committee. Since the COVID thing is here, it's hard to actually plan tournaments, but we're also looking at that. But these are the immediate things that we're coming up with in the next few months. But hopefully we get to doing all these regional tournaments that we're planning. And yeah, that's it for what we're looking ahead at for the next year.
Yeah, nice short video presentation. That's about it. If there are any questions, I think feel free to reach out to the college committee. Any of our members, actually, we'll all discuss and get back. Yep. Have a nice day. Have a nice year. Hope to see you soon.
We are very fortunate to get this opportunity to be able to talk to all of you about Havabaz. So as some of you already know, Havabaz is the official Ultimate Frisbee team of St. Stephen's College. We are a bunch of around 70 to 80 people who have genuine love for the sport of Ultimate. Today, we have some of our representatives to tell you a little bit more about ourselves. I'd like to hand over to Irene to tell us about the history of Havabaz.
Hi guys, so the history of Havabaz is more like a story. It all started with a few of our seniors, 7 to be exact, who started playing with plastic discs randomly during their free time. Not the proper Ultimate, but just passing the disc around in college grounds, breaking the windows, and getting scolded by the professors and the dean. So just having fun. And then they decided to stick to the plastic discs initially. But then when they started playing a lot, they were determined to get a new one, a professional one. But they were also penniless. And the disc was about 800 rupees at that time, and they couldn't afford it. So they decided to split it up. And each one of the 7 put in 100 rupee, but it was still not enough. And they were short by 100. So of course they were disappointed and they left the whole idea, and then they went back to playing with the plastic ones. And once, as if by a miracle from heaven, one of them found an abandoned 100 rupee note in front of the college grounds. And so as the saying goes, finders are keepers. So they kept it, and that's how we got our professional Frisbee disc. And then they started playing with this new disc of theirs from the next day. And an American exchange student saw them playing these silly games, and he went up to them and asked them if they knew something about the Ultimate. And they had no clue about the game, but they did not want to hurt their egos. So they said, yes, they do. And so the American exchange student, he teamed up with other American exchange students and challenged them for a game the next day. But we lost. We lost to 11-0 because they were professional players from the country. But this guy, he had kind of guessed that this would happen because he had seen them play. So from the next day, he promised them to coach. And then with hard work and perseverance, in 2015, we were placed the runner-ups in the mini tournament with Ashoka. And at that time, we didn't even have a name. It was just a few students from Stephens playing the Ultimate. So after that match, they sat together in the mess logs and came up with the name Havabaz. And then everything happened in the gist. They came up with a jersey, we designed a logo, and We have evolved a lot from that day. Like originally the jersey was only for about 18 people, and after 2 years we have our 5th edition of the jersey and nearly 80 people ordered the same. It has been a roller coaster ride for all of us, and we have come this far. So now Dion will speak about the Frisbee College, Frisbee culture.
Yes, so Havabas is more of a family than simply a Frisbee team. It's a place a lot of us in college have come to know as our home. Like it's a safe place where we all belong. So in a stressful college environment, the one thing we all look forward to every day is for the clock to strike 4:30, so that we can all run to the ground and spend the next 2 to 3 hours having fun with our, like, some of the most favorite people of ours in the college. And even that is kind of a lie, because most of the days we don't really wait till 4:30. So one good thing about Stephens is that there is no shortage of places to chill. We have like 6 lawns and a basketball court. So by noon or something, we find some place to play. And then we have these like fun and intense sessions in the basketball court. Or sometimes we just take over the whole campus and play urban frisbee, and that is another level of fun. So in college, basically the name Frisbee, or like the name Havabas, has become synonymous with the people we see every day in the ground with a disc in their hand. Havabas has been instrumental in bringing people from across departments and courses together. Everyone has an equal voice, and no one ever feels like they don't belong. Havabas is like a prime example of how a bond formed over a disc is no less than any other bond. Now I guess we'll have Angel talking about some of the competitions and achievements we've had over the years.
So Havabaz is not limited to the college campus. We have participated and made a mark in various tournaments across the country. The following are some of the tournaments we have taken part in the past years. In 2015, we participated in Ashoka University's first Frisbee tournament. Next year, in 2016, we participated in the league conducted by the Delhi Ultimate League at a college, and few months later in Faridabad. We also participated in the Ashoka Ultimate Championship in 2016 and 2017. In 2018, we participated in the North Central Sectionals held at City Fort and Lucknow. We represented our college in the Sports Fest of LSR and also in the National College Ultimate Championship. We also participated in the Delhi Winter League in the same year. In 2019, we again went on to participate in the North Central Sectionals. Then in the Sports Fest conducted by BITS Pilani and Lady Shri Ram College. In 2020, we again participated in the Sports Fest conducted by Lady Shri Ram College and also the National Challenger Series. So that was all about the tournaments we participated in. Let's hear Sebastian talk about the tournaments we have directed in our college in the past few years.
So now I'll talk about the few tournaments organized by Havabas. So we have always been enthusiastic in taking up any opportunity to conduct tournaments. A group of people volunteer to become the tournament directors and take the responsibility to find the sponsors and also arrange for the essentials for the tournament. The most exciting part of organizing tournaments comes on the D-Day, running around with first aid kits, refilling water cans, and being available 24/7. In the recent past, we have organized various tournaments, which includes the North Central Sectionals one, which involved 13 teams, 3 of which were fielded by Havabas itself. We also organized the Delhi Head 2020, which featured around 200 players from all over Delhi. Now, Rich will speak about Havabas during the lockdown.
So during the pandemic, even when the whole country was shut down, we, Havabas, as a team, found our way to make the best out of it. We conducted online auctions. That was the best part of the lockdown from my part. It was very exciting, energetic, and also competitive. From this auction, we got 4 teams: Stormtroopers, Ultimaniacs, Callahans, and Air Hustlers. The 4 teams were competing against each other throughout the year. Workout and rule discussion sessions were held together as a family every week, and also separate workout sessions were held by each team. The whole online league system helped us to work and bond more even in different places. Even though a lot of factors were not favorable, our forces was never broken and we were always spirited. Then came along a series of online competition conducted by our college committee of UPAI. Every member of Havabas actively participated in the challenges and we were able to secure the first positions. These challenges brought all the members of the team scattered across the country together in the spirit we usually found on the field. During the nationwide lockdown, the college was like heaven to play Frisbee for those who were in the college. Even through the stressful time that our nations were facing, the ultimate was the sole relaxation for us. So now I would like to take Susan to take some notable alumni from Havabas.
So I'd like to introduce some notable alumni from Havabas. So two of them are Binoy from the batch of 2016 and Anand from the batch of 2019. Binoy started playing in his first or second year in college. Those 2 years, they hadn't played a very serious ultimate game, but then things took a huge turn when Jason from Brown University came to Stephens and gave them proper guidelines and coached them in the sport. So he used to travel to Greater Kailash, where he got connected and introduced to a whole new group of like-minded people who were trying to set up an ultimate society. So when later on, when he spent 2 years in Hyderabad, he trained kids there in Ultimate, which when he found a connection with kids, and then this connection was what inspired him to come back to Delhi and try to find more ways to connect kids to the sport. So Why Ultimate is an organization that came up as result of this support for smaller initiatives and smaller Ultimate teams. So he trained young coaches from GK MAD, who then went on to coach various small teams from different communities. He has also worked all around the country, including Manipur, Maharashtra, Delhi, and Kerala. His organization is a direct coaching program and a coach training program right now. So, according to Binoy, quoting him, it's been quite fun and it's very interesting that it all started at Stephens. If I think what my takeaway from Stephens is, Ultimate is definitely the biggest takeaway. And then coming to Anand, so Anand graduated from Stephens in the year 2019. Since then, he has worked for Ultimate in various ways. He was an intern at Project Kale for a period of 5 months, where he helped out in developing the Ultimate Frisbee program at Lucknow. He has also been a coaching committee member of UPAI since June 2020. So finally, we have Eva to conclude the presentation.
Ultimate has been like more of an emotion than a sport for all of us. So it has been the foundation for some of the strongest bonds that colleges ever gifted us with. And now Ultimate, being a non-refereed sport, but still it taught us a lot of values that we will cherish throughout our lives. And now it helped us develop a healthy competitive spirit and social skills also. And the very idea of it being a mixed gender sport itself is one big factor that brought us all together. And having us all together within the space actually brought in a great deal of enthusiasm. And this played a huge role in all of us running to the ground daily. And now, on behalf of the whole Havabas family, I'd like to thank UPAI for giving us this opportunity to feature ourselves for the UPAI National Conference. Now, ultimately, ultimate is what that matters. Thank you, guys.
Hi, my name is Chaitanya, and welcome to the India Ultimate National Conference 2021. I'm going to take you through the updates for the Communications Committee as they happened this past year. Right, to begin with, our activity summary for the last year has mainly been in 4 areas: organizational communication, social media and community, governance and internal, and public relations and coverage in the media that we've received for the sport and for the organization. Let's quickly look at organizational communication. What Communications Committee did was work with operations to help collate and publish monthly committee updates throughout the year, and these can be found on the website. We also created the new identity for People's Ultimate League, an exciting initiative that you should be hearing about soon. One of the largest projects that we've taken up this year is revamping UPAI's website. We believe that a new web presence is important going ahead with community growing and to insert new features and functionalities that allow us to communicate our presence better. What we've also been doing is co-leading the logo and visual communication project for the Kickoff Fellowship. And communications committee, along with the development committee, is working in collaboration with Fast Collective for this project. Right. The second pillar is social media and community engagement. And what we've been doing is coordinating and creating digital content. This is video, copy, and images and posters for the USHA digital engagement project. We're working with our long-term partner USHA for some social media creatives, and we should be seeing that soon. We created a new LinkedIn presence for UPI. I invite everyone to go to LinkedIn and like our page and follow our updates there. Over the past few months, we've also managed to collate and create and implement a social media calendar. So in the past few months, if you've seen a flurry of activity and some really interesting posts and designs, that's thanks to the work that committee has put in, especially Tikka, Sushmita, and Ananya, to bring you all these updates. Right, and we are doing mostly to continue engaging with you all and help the ultimate Frisbee story and narrative grow and become popular. Right, so please expect regular weekly updates and stories. Please like them and share them. If you have any ideas, please bring them to us. We'd be happy to implement them. What we've also been doing is helping with the communication campaign for Strength of the Pack film. If you haven't checked out the film, go do it now. And we've also been helping with the FEM-powered film festival that was presented on occasion of Women's Day early this year. Our third pillar has been governance and internal, and that's been a major chunk of activity that communications committee has been doing through the year on a day-to-day basis. What we've done is establish a network of designers within the community. We've identified people with design skills, asked them for the help and getting the time on board to bring you all the creatives and communication that you see. We also managed to create a new structure for the Ask Me Anything AMS sessions that happen frequently. And we have a work in progress on anti-harassment and anti-bullying guidelines. If you have ideas or you're interested to contribute to this, please reach out to us. We need more thoughts on this. Majorly because of COVID-19, a lot of time has been devoted to reviewing, designing, and publishing all the COVID-19 trackers, guidelines, and advisory that you've been seeing. We've been working closely with the operations team, put out this communication in a timely manner and when it's needed the most. What we've also initiated, and it's work in progress, is creating some standard protocols and induction material for people joining the UPI. And this is like a small handbook introduction that gives you an idea of what it is to work with the organization and within the organization. Lastly, it's public relations and media coverage, and I believe this year has been a dampener of sort, but we've managed to have some good narratives and stories unfold for UPI and Frisbee in the media. Right, we've continued content and site support on various partnership pitches and development initiatives that both the committees have been doing. Meghna Shankarnarayanan, our president, was featured on Voice of Achievers podcast. The link is on our social media handles. Please go and give it a listen. We also had 4 of our amazing ultimate women athletes and leaders featured in a Government of India sponsored youth pod podcast called MyGov for the first time ever. And one of the funniest thing or a good thing to happen is that Ultimate Frisbee reached Lok Sabha, and we had Ahmedabad MP Kirit Solanki raise a question to the Honorable Sports Minister about recognition of Ultimate Frisbee as a sport. formation of a national team, and setting up training and tournament facilities. And communications committee is in touch with the media about this as the story unfolds. And please keep following our stories and sharing them as much as you can. So here's a quick snapshot of all that happened. We've got the MyGov podcast, Medna's podcast, Ultimate, and that's been sort of like this highlight for us. Looking ahead, Communications Committee is going to be active soon with NCS announcements. So stay tuned for that. That's only going to happen if all of us are going to behave and promise to stay safe. We are excited to bring a new monthly newsletter for all of you. And if you have thoughts about how we could deliver this newsletter to you, email, WhatsApp, or you want an RSS feed, please join, send us a DM or join the helpline on WhatsApp and share your thoughts. Right. What we are also doing is streamlining stakeholder communication, which is intercommittee, and with the external community. This is largely following feedback and concern that some of our community members on the last mile are left behind with important announcement and engagement. And we want to be we want to cast the net as wide as possible and bring all our updates and engagements and announcements to every ultimate player in India. We are also working on a new inclusion and diversity communication style guideline. Of course, there is the new website for UPAI, as I mentioned, and we need some help here. So this is also me asking you one more time to give your time. If you are a website developer, if you're a front-end designer, or if you just like writing copy or taking pictures, please reach out to us. We need all your creative help in getting this website. Right, and of course, there is the more social media engagement. Finally, we look forward to supporting all committees with their content and design needs. And you can always rely on us to get things done for you. One of the major things has been that the Communications Committee has had a rehaul, and the new members have had some big shoes to fill. I'd like to thank outgoing committee chairperson Richa and other members Ashray, Sisa, and Shangi for all the help and effort that they've put in with their time on the Communications Committee. And lastly, to introduce the current committee, we have Sangamitra Dikka, Sushmita, and me, Sridhi, and we are the ones who work for the Communications Committee. We need more hands on deck. Again, please join us. Lastly, the supporting cast in communications has been Ananya for her creative design, Siddharth for his meticulous updates and writing with the monthly reports. Matthew has been quite eager to get things done, and of course, the operations committee for the continued notifications and nagging to get things done. So Mrinalini, Maitri, Manikam, thank you so much. I'll probably call you as 3M here. But that's the update for the Communications Committee. Thank you so much for being a part of the National Conference. And you can join us in your conversation on all these handles that have been listed. Thank you and enjoy the other exciting breakout sessions that are planned for you in this.
Hello, this is Ambrish Japuria from the Competitions Committee. Competitions Committee's main roles that we do are related to the National Championship Series and determining the rankings for the teams across the country. We also do a lot of scheduling and seeding and ranking and all of those sort of things. We help organize tournaments, and this is across both NCS and non-NCS tournaments as well. So even your hat tournaments and regular tournaments as well, we support them as much as we can. These are some of our members, well, all our members. This is, as you can see, I'm not going to go through one by one on who everyone is. You hopefully have seen many of us around, play on the field or off the field even. It's a spread of players from around the country, from Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, a little bit of everywhere. And as always, we're looking for more players. You have more players, for more members, more players as well. You please feel free to reach out to either operations team, Minu or Manix, or Aishwarya or myself if you're interested in joining. Especially if you're female, then that also, as you can see, we currently only have two. We're ideally one more. Although we are one of the largest committees, there is a lot of work to be done, and therefore more always helps with us. And all of the committee are always happy for you to reach out to them if you have any questions with competitions related questions. Yeah, so like every other committee, it's been a tough year. We've had it's been a different year. We primarily, as you know, focus on competitions and tournaments, and unfortunately, there haven't been any, or haven't been many. So we've had to. So what we've done instead is we've taken this time to work on some other things. One of the main things that we did was we got a lot of feedback from both the players and the EB about what we really want from the National Championship Series, and therefore we've made some adjustments to it, some fairly significant adjustments, I'd say. We hope that this will reflect better on what we're looking for as a community, and it'll give more teams an opportunity to play and more players an opportunity. And yeah, we just hope that this helps the community in general, and yeah, that you all enjoy it. We've also been using this time to come up with the Tournament Director Handbook, which again, we think should be useful. It should help tournament directors, both first time and more experienced. And it has a range, it should help everyone from people just organizing a casual hat tournament, like a local one, all the way up to people organizing NCS and nationals and all of those big tournaments. And yeah, we just hope that it'll be useful for tournament directors. Apart from that, through the COVID period, we did come up with the return to play guidelines, and we also got, with the help, we helped Arun Pandian come up with the back to school. Well, we don't know if we helped. Yeah, we helped with. Well, AP helped us out with the return to play training as well, which has been super useful from everyone who's done it. And we do also now have the COVID guidelines for tournaments and training, which is basically your weekly chart that comes out, which basically looks at per capita cases in each district. We strongly recommend and we really urge you and ask you to please follow these guidelines. They are there for a reason. They are based on what a lot of other countries are following. And they're basically, it's the best way we can think of to quantify the number of cases and how risky it is to return to play. So please, please do follow these guidelines. They're there for your safety and for your families. So please, I mean, yeah, that's all I can say to that. Beyond that, for the road ahead, for the next couple of years, what we're looking to do, these were two of the things that the EB and the feedback that we got, we felt that we didn't address as completely in the new rules, in the new NCS rules. So one of the things we want to work on is developing women's ultimate. Right now, as you're well aware, with ultimate being a mixed team, a mixed sport, we feel like there are less women playing than men, and we're hoping to redress that balance. And the other thing that we want to address is women in the leadership roles in teams. So this is captains, coaches, spirit captains. A lot of that is still currently being done by the men, and we would like to address that. To that end, as you might have seen the circular going out this week, we have slightly amended our rules so that all teams have to have a named woman captain as well, apart from the spirit captain. We expect that the woman, at least one, could be more, however you decide as a team. We expect the female players or player would be part of all the discussions, would be calling lines, would be giving team talks and taking part in the spirit circle as well. So that's one of the things we're working on. The other thing we want to do is promote more recreational ultimate. Right now, a lot of the stuff that we focus on as a committee is the the NCS, the National Championship Series, but and a lot of the players are also focused on this very competitive side of things, but we want to do more to promote the recreational side of Ultimate, because at the end of the day, Ultimate is fun, and we want to make it more fun and promote the fun part of it, including, so we're going to look into things like, of course, we already have hat tournaments, but like local leagues that we can have in a weekly basis, draft leagues, hat leagues, other like fun tournaments, and a lot of the other parts of Ultimate that we want to promote. And that's what we're looking to do in the future. And I think there was a fairly brief roundup of what the competitions committee has been up to. If you have any questions or doubts, please feel free to reach out to either Aishwarya or myself. This is Ambrish Chairperson from the competitions committee signing out. Thank you very
much. Hi everyone, I'm Soumya and I'll be talking to you about NTC, National Teams Committee. So broadly, NTC is in charge of the teams India is sending for international or regional tournaments. So the NTC is composed of 3 members. So there is Harsha from Bangalore, Narayan, who's currently in Australia, but used to be in India, and me, I'm in Delhi. So looking at what NTC has done over 2020 and until now, so we initially worked on collecting feedback from coaches and national team players from the 2019 campaigns, and like putting this feedback together to see how we can improve on our future campaigns. Then there was planning for the tournaments that ultimately got cancelled in December 2020. But yeah, we were supposed to send a few teams to different tournaments. So for AOUGC 2020, we worked on adding players to the team, adding coaches in the context of COVID, finding the best way to do that, where no one could travel and even move out of their houses. And for WCBU 2020, which was supposed to happen this year in 2021, we worked on seeing how to conduct tryouts, again in this context where travel is quite difficult and also with a lot of uncertainty. I think this was the biggest challenge, finding ways to plan with so much uncertainty and with players being all over the country. And lastly, we are working on a new selection process for national teams. So this is following a lot of feedback that UPAI has received from the community. So this project involves the executive board, the advisory board, as well as the previous national team coaches. And lastly, 2 new members have been added to NTC last year, so that's Harsha and me. And now looking at what we are working on now and for 2022. So I was just talking about this new selection process. So we are hoping to finalize it quite soon so that we can share it with the community. Then there is WCBU, which is now postponed tentatively to 2022. So again, we are seeing how we are going to run those tryouts because we thought COVID was going away, at least for India, but it doesn't look like that's the case anymore. And lastly, we will share an outlook on India's participation for the upcoming tournaments with everyone. If you have any questions or anything you'd like to share with NTC, don't hesitate to write to us at ntc@indiaultimate.org, and we'll be happy to discuss with you. Thank you for listening.
Hi guys, this is Aditi from the Schools Committee, and this is my very helpful and enthusiastic team, Bhavya, Shubham, Akhil and Vishwa. So to give you guys an update of what's been happening, we've sort of made a list of schools that already play Ultimate or have some sort of UPI run program already, and also a list of schools that would be interested in having Ultimate as part of their curriculum. And we had circulated a Google form to this effect. So I'm really thankful to a lot of you who reached out and gave us a lot of important information. So separately, we've also been in talks with the Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan and PwC, who's helping us liaise with the Greater Chennai Corporation schools for introduction of Ultimate in all of their schools. We were also in discussions with Fit Kids and Sports Village. However, due to the pandemic, all of these talks have sort of been put on hold indefinitely for now. While we haven't been able to run any active school programs because of the pandemic, we did decide to use this time productively and build a curriculum which coaches could then use when they go and teach in these schools. So the idea is to just have a lot of fun and engaging activities while also developing some sort of basic life skills that we all know the sport Ultimate can teach us. So this is just a snapshot of the information and data that we have. We did circulate a Google form for interest in coaching opportunities. And well, as you can see, a lot of the coaches are concentrated in Bangalore, Chennai, and Gujarat, I'm assuming, but and New Delhi. But yeah, we really look forward to having more participation from the Ultimate community. So just as part of this update, we also would like to just talk to you about one particular school which has a very active Ultimate program and how they've been, achieving a lot of things and how much the Ultimate Schools Committee is learning from this particular program so that we can implement it in other schools going forward. So Fountainhead School usually has 15 to 25 active students who will be playing, and as of now it has 2 active coaches. The one, Bhavya, who's in our committee, who's also an alumni of Fountainhead, was very helpful in giving us this insight on what the culture at Fountainhead School is like, where, it's great because the admin and the tech staff, everyone just comes out and plays with the students, and it's a very it's a great bonding experience for everyone in the school itself. The other thing is Fountainhead has sort of really tried to give back to the society, and they make sure that as part of their in-service sessions, there's a 2-month program where the students of Fountainhead, along with the coaches, teach the sport to underprivileged kids. And this, it doesn't sound like much, but small things like this really add up because a lot of those kids are now able to just, they have a sort of, support system around them. They may or may not ultimately use Ultimate for eventually, making sort of income out of it or not. But it just helps to have a community that will look after them. And the Fountainhead School, their Ultimate team did represent, and the team finished 4th, and most importantly, Spirit Award. So it really speaks volumes about the great culture and what a small community, a small school can really do for the ultimate world, really. So in terms of what's ahead, as and when the team project does come alive, we intend to phase 1 with Delhi, Surat, and Chennai. These are the cities that the committee has decided that we'll kick off the project with. We're also looking at, having some sort of workshops or camps at schools in Calcutta. And this decision is again based on the fact that we don't have enough coaching capacity in Calcutta, but we did have a lot of schools that were interested in introducing Ultimate. So we decided that the best way would be to have some really good coaches go down there, go to the schools that we've identified and train the coaches there to start introducing Ultimate in the school curriculum as and when the schools open up. The other thing that we intend to do is increase the exhibition. cities where we already have a lot of active teams and active players. Like in Chennai, Bangalore, Pune, and Mumbai, where we obviously do have a lot of club teams, but we want to also, use this sort of network, leverage it to just encourage more school children to start playing. And we've seen that in the past that kids take to Ultimate more enthusiastically when they see how the game is really played, when they see the real intensity and the good spirit in which the game is played. So that's sort of the very definite points we had. But obviously, our overarching goal is just to keep working towards building relationships with a lot of schools and organizations that can help us just reach out to the grassroots and have more school children being playing Ultimate eventually. So if you guys, if the whole Ultimate community has any contacts, has any ideas, or if anyone would like to help us with anything, please do reach out. We're always open to listening to anyone from the Ultimate community and to new ideas. Thank you. Have fun.
Hello everybody, my name is Chiai and then I'm presenting update from SOTG committee. First, let me introduce the SOTG committee members. We have total 5 members, Naveen, Maitri, Kavita, Ajit, and then myself. Naveen, Maitri, Ajit are from Bangalore, and then Kavita, and then myself are from Chennai. If anybody is interested in joining SOTG committee, we are more than welcome to have you guys, and then excited to have the new members. Please contact, if you're interested, please contact operation team. In the next 2 slides, I will be showing activity summary, such as what we did in 2020, and then looking ahead, which means that we will show you, I will show you what we will do in 2021. So in 2020, when COVID hit India, we felt that we can do something we can't do when season starts. So we have worked on 4 areas. First is creating a guideline such as manuals for spirit directors, spirit captains to streamline SOTG process and then procedure. Second, focusing on spirit education. We conducted total 6 workshops and then around 50 people participated in. Third thing is spirit resources. Creating spirit resources are still going on. Kavita from Chennai, she is working on translation in Tamil. Hopefully she can finish it within a couple of months. This year, WIFTIF has announced a new rule change 2021. So we are working on creating a language-friendly materials. The last thing is the working with other committees, which is very important. So we worked closely with a committee like NTC and then coaching committees. For example, with coaching committees, we created level 1 to level 1, 2, 3, 4 coaching SOTG coaching manuals. And with NTC, we closely worked with coaches to maintain high spirit SOTG. Looking ahead in 2021 to 2022, what we are planning to do, what we are doing right now, is that we are focusing on 3 areas. First one is promoting awareness of UPAI SOTG policies. It is on website, but we'd like to promote it in the different platforms and then methods, so that the community will be familiar with UPAI SOTG policies, such as triggering scores, submission of spirit scores, and then dangerous plays. Aiming to create more spirit-related resources and then translation to regional languages so that the learning rules won't be a daunting tasks for the community. Lastly, we'd like the guideline to be more accessible for those who are already appointed to be a spirit director and then spirit captains, or those who might be interested in being a spirit director, so that they will know like what they're expected to do on the day of tournament. So thank you those who watched this video and the UPAI operation team who organized this conference. If you have any questions, please email spirit@indiaultimate.org.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Advitya Dawn, and I'm the chairperson of the Development Committee. I'll be taking you through the committee update for the past year. My team comprises of Shubhra, Peter, Matthew, Anand, and myself, and we are wonderfully supported by Minu, Maitri, Manitz, and Sumesh. In terms of what we've been up to for the past year, under outreach, we re-established contact with over 20 plus NGO partners across the country and assessed how they have been coping with the pandemic. It included talking to them about how their community members are doing, how they are coping with the lockdown, and if in any way UPAI can assist them. Pempart Films Festival. As a volunteer of the UPAI and chairperson of the development committee, I helped co-host the two-day event celebrating women in sports, themed on determination and grit alongside the Embassy of India Student Hub, Washington, DC. It was a great platform for the UPAI to talk about the work that they've been doing in the sport for development space, and in general, putting that across on a global platform. In terms of resource building, it was super important for us to put together an NGO partner database. A lot of work in terms of outreach and intervention has already happened prior to the formal setup of the development committee. So we thought it would be important to track all that prior outreach and also streamline communication, ongoing communication, as well as future communication, so that we're able to cater to the needs of our partners in a very specific manner. I think the role that the development committee, as a part of the UPAI, wishes to play is a sort of forum where sharing of knowledge is possible, and this was especially useful during COVID-19 because some of our NGO partners were way more advanced in the way that they were dealing with the lockdown and challenges that the lockdown resulted in, and sharing of that knowledge from an advanced NGO to someone to an NGO that was struggling. We thought that was great, and we would love to facilitate similar kind of knowledge sharing in the future. Our flagship project is the Women Leaders Fellowship. It is in partnership with the US-based NGO Kickoff Solutions. Just to give you a little bit background about the fellowship, it's envisaged as a year-long program wherein a cohort of 8 young women leaders in the age group of 15 to 20 will be groomed in the various aspects of leadership. They'll be equipped with a typical skill set to navigate the world of leadership, especially as a woman. So there are aspects of gender, there are aspects of identity and self exploration that these women will be going through during the fellowship. And we also intend to include a component of community project where they'll actually be doing their community and maybe taking back something that they've learned from the fellowship. So it is envisaged, it is designed as a mix of interactive online group sessions and also a practical component being the community work that they will be doing as a part of the fellowship. So in terms of updates, we received applications from 16 young women leaders from almost all parts of the country. We onboarded a few organizations. Some of them include Rupico, experts in financial literacy, Tara Foundation. They work in the sphere of women's empowerment. gender equality, and you'll be meeting a few of them tomorrow during the launch of the final cohort of the fellowship. Our facilitators are helping us curate the content, design the curriculum for the fellowship, and they also helped us. They also enabled us to host an interactive session with all the applicants, where they conducted a few activities and helped us also see how the girls are sort of working together, how they are whether they're enjoying the online medium, and that was the second part of the selection process. The first one was obviously us gauging context, the background of all these wonderful women who had applied, and just in general, trying to understand their journey and journey on how they started playing Ultimate. We are also collaborating with Past Selective for developing the brand mark of the fellowship. So the logo and the name are still in the works, but we hope to be able to share it with you all very soon. So as I mentioned, the final selection has been completed, and the cohort official launch is scheduled for tomorrow, which is Sunday, 11th April. So please do join us for that. In terms of collaboration, we held brainstorming sessions for developing the SEAL curriculum integrated with Ultimate. So SEAL is socio-emotional and ethical learning. And while going through the curriculum for SEAL, we sort of saw quite a few overlaps with Ultimate, and also the principles of Ultimate and the core values that it stands for. So we, in collaboration with the Student Committee, will be hopefully exploring avenues of taking this, putting together something as a product that we can then take to schools as well as NGOs. The People's Ultimate Lead is sort of housed as a development project, but it is also an independent grassroots initiative that I'll be talking about super soon. But in general, just to give you an idea, it strives to take the sport of Ultimate Frisbee beyond the binary genders and engage with the transgender community, non-binary, as well as gender fluid people across the spectrum. This is a quick look at all our NGO partners. If you look closely, then you see that there are, there's color coding of 3 kinds. The blue ones are basically NGOs that are really well, have really well integrated Ultimate Frisbee into their curriculum and community work. Green ones are the ones who have already integrated, but they're still working with the sport, getting to know about it and further integrated. The blue ones, the yellow ones are the ones who are fairly new to the sport, and they are still exploring ways in which Ultimate Frisbee can benefit the work that they do in their community. So given the pandemic, as you can imagine, most of us work through the online medium, and as like Zoom was the preferred platform, and development work is very difficult to be had over an online medium. But we figured our own ways of doing that, trying to make that as effective as possible. And just to give you a quick snapshot, this is actually how it looked. So, if you talk about our group session, which we hosted with all the amazing women who had applied for the fellowship, this is it. This is how it looked and how it felt. And even though we couldn't meet them in person, their stories, and you can see everyone smiling, their stories, their, the way they were, the energy and the positivity that they brought to the platform was just so inspiring, and really made all the effort and time that we put into this super worth it. So now, coming to People's Ultimate League, it is a grassroots initiative aimed at people who have been traditionally discouraged from sport. People's Ultimate League is also a grantee of Women Win On-Site Fund. And so Women Win is actually a global women's organization. And the On-Site Fund is actually, the PUL is a grantee of round 1 of the funding of the On-Site Fund. And they are currently supporting 30 groups from over 25 different countries. And PUL happens to be one of the 6 Asia Pacific grantees. So in So what PUL tries to do, and in the arena in India, PUL will be introducing the sport of ultimate frisbee to LGBTQ plus communities in Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, Calcutta, and Coimbatore. PUL also PUL wishes to dissociate the culture of sports from single gender and reintroduce it to those who have been traditionally not given equal sporting opportunity. So to achieve this, the PUL seeks to collaborate with organizations, be it collectives, NGOs, etc., all across India, who work closely with LGBTQ plus communities, so that they can be our our ears on the ground and help us create a safe space for them for these communities to come out and play. So the PUL team comprises of Meghna, Rasika, and myself. We are the principals. Operations are led by Minu, Maitri, and Manix, and Richa is our communications director. In terms of the game plan and updates so far, so we curated a long list of close to 60 NGOs, 60 NGO selectives/trusts that work with LGBTQ plus communities across India. We're exploring partnerships with 10 plus organizations to run sessions and build teams for the finale of the league later this year. We also published a coach interest form and received interest from close to 20 plus coaches from across the country. So far, we have identified 4 partner NGOs based on recommendations from different people, sort of synergies and what we are trying to achieve, and how our the vision of PUL fits into the work that organization is doing. And so far, we have mobilized 1 partner organization on ground, and we're hoping to sort of ramp that up. But given COVID and elections in a bunch of states, things are a little slow. But we hope to give more, updates to the community as and when things progress. Watch out for the press release and the social media launch very soon. So in terms of looking forward, I think we have the Women Leaders Fellowship that will be kicking off in a month's time. So a lot of monitoring and evaluation, tracking how the girls are doing and the challenges that they might be facing, working with the different facilitators on making the journey and the experience as effective for these young girls as possible. We also want to explore development internship opportunities. So since we have a bunch of NGO partners, and each of them do really great work in the specific life skills sphere that they work in, it would be great if a lot of community members can engage with them, and we want to provide that platform for you to sort of be able to work with some of these organizations, maybe over summer, just explore and spend some time with these organizations, see the work that they're doing. We also want to put collaboration with coaching committee as on the agenda. We want to explore how we can make the coaching certification, how we can tweak it and customize it to some extent for our NGO partners, because apart from obviously the sport, there is an entire element of how the sport imparts life skills and how that fits in with the community work that each of these NGOs are doing. Developing the SEAL curriculum, which is socio-emotional and ethical learning, is something that we are really looking forward to brainstorming over in the coming year. And definitely go more grassroots. I feel like through many of the interventions and outreach efforts, there are a lot of takeaways that many members of our community have, and we would like to speak to you, get to know more about the work that you're doing, and hopefully be able to help reach as many individuals, players as possible. I want to leave you all with, it's not exactly a quote, but I want to leave you with a thought that through one of our conversations with an NGO partner who we were sort of pitching the People's Ultimate League to, they told us that, sport is a privilege one can explore once their basic needs have been met. And this is something that stayed with me and will always remind me that we're extremely lucky And we should be super grateful that we have Ultimate Frisbee as something that we're all so fond of and we love as a sport. And we should all try to ensure that those who have been traditionally discouraged or who face certain challenges or stigma around joining the sport should always be encouraged and to start playing Ultimate Frisbee or any other sport for that matter. Thank you for joining us for day one of the National Conference. It was great to hear from the 17 city and state representatives from across the country. I'm genuinely amazed at how far the sport of Ultimate Frisbee has come. I took a lot back from the UPAI committee chairperson's updates, and it's genuinely interesting to see the range of projects that all of them have been working on in the past year and the exciting stuff that they have planned for the year to come. We hope that today was fun and informative for you. See you all tomorrow at 11 a.m. right here on the India Ultimate YouTube channel. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and we will see you really soon.